You're watching Kruger Nation Horror Movie Reviews. I'm Johnny, and I'm on location today with my friend Anthony.
What's up?
And we're going to talk about Christmas movies. And the first movie will be Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clark, the director of movies like A Christmas Story, and also he did Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. The movie stars Margot Kidder, John Saxon, and I'm sure it has a few more people in it that have gone on to do other things, but offhand I'm not sure. It's got the British lady from It. That's all I know.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so this movie basically, it's a simple plot. It's about a guy, they never show his face, they never explain things to you, but he goes into a college sorority and he just starts killing for about, what, 3 days?
Yeah.
He stays in the attic, that's his place. At the beginning of the movie, you see a girl get suffocated with a plastic bag, and the whole movie, she can be seen through the attic.
From the front door, right, the window right above the front door.
But nobody notices her.
Nobody notices.
No, not at all. Let's talk about some of the plot elements and stuff. Now, I think one of my very favorite things in this whole movie is the drunk sorority mother.
Yes.
I like her.
Awesome. It's like the 70s Karen Walker.
It's cool because you open up a toilet tank and you got vodka. You dig in a shoebox and you got a flask of whiskey.
There's one in a Bible, I think, if I remember correctly. Some sort of book. Yeah.
There's
one in a book. It's awesome.
There's what else?
Anyways, with the killer, you never get to see really anything about him except for his hands. I guess you can assume that he's a guy.
Well, you hear a lot of grunting.
You do.
There's a lot of grunting.
So I'm pretty sure it's a guy. Not sure. It's
phone
a
calls.
very masculine man. Or
Phone
girl.
calls, dude.
Yeah, phone calls.
That's one of the most important plot elements of the movie. This man, from beginning to end, is calling them and saying some of the most lewd things you'll ever hear. And that being said, this movie was made in 1973, when you didn't say these kind of things on film. I want to eat your pussy!
What? It was kind of odd because for that sort of time, you would think that the first thing that they would do would be call the cops, but they kind of just let it go. And I think the very first time that we see him call is they like kind of mess with him because they think it's some guy that's flirting or something.
Because they have everybody standing around.
They have everyone standing around. They're like laughing, ha 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 ha, you're so funny. Why don't you come in? Blah blah blah, all this sort of stuff. But
and Margot Kidder's taunting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are a bunch of subplots in this movie. There's the main character who, she tells her boyfriend that she's pregnant, but she is wanting to have an abortion. So, you know, he is basically the ultimate red herring. You're led to believe this whole movie that he's probably the killer.
Because he beats up his piano.
Exactly. Well, and he was a really shitty piano player. So, I mean, he couldn't play piano to save his life.
Maybe that's why he beat it up. Maybe it wasn't the baby, but, you know, I don't know. He beat it up with like a...
It was a mic stand. It was like a mic stand.
Okay, it was, yeah.
It was
some sort of pole.
It was actually like 30 pounds, dude. He beat the hell out of that. It's a grand piano, man. That thing cost like $10,000. I don't know. I don't have the estimate. There were a lot of things this movie had going for it. When this movie came out, it was the first slasher movie ever. There was no other movie that followed this format. And until this movie came out, there was nothing like this. And in fact, John Carpenter cites this as being the movie that inspired Halloween. He said that he wanted another holiday slasher film, and he just randomly picked Halloween, and I thank God every day that he did, because even though I love this movie, Halloween is just way better, a masterpiece.
Love that movie.
There's a lot to say for a movie like this, because it pioneered, but it wasn't the best, but it still, you know, it did a lot.
I guess to go along further, talking about the plot again, and storyline and stuff, it was kind of odd, I guess, back in, what, 73? Because I think it was based about the same time that the movie came out. I guess people didn't have a lot of common sense in the police department, because, I don't know, when a person went missing in this, you know, house, the first place I probably would have looked was
the neighborhood, not the house. Check the house.
They checked the park, which was like a mile away.
But they found another dead body.
They did find another dead body, so kudos to them.
So they thought, let's keep on this dead body trail instead of checking that original house. Oh, there were a lot of things. That deputy, the guy who stayed behind the counter the whole time, he was a douche nozzle. This guy, every time they came to him with a problem, was the main girl. The girl who was suffocated at the beginning, her dad and a couple of the other friends came to the cop and were like, well, my daughter's been missing. And he didn't put together the fact that she was missing from that sorority, and there were prank calls going to that sorority the whole time.
The whole time.
And these were just prank calls. These were like, I don't know. And it sounded like multiple voices. I can understand the not knowing if it was a man or a woman on the phone, because it definitely teetered.
Weird.
No, it's a really good movie. I really like it a lot, and I like the fact that they don't explain anything at the end.
It leaves more to the imagination, I think.
I think if you base it off the ending, it makes it pretty clear that the boyfriend isn't the killer. By the way, this is a spoiler, so... Another thing that led me to believe that the killer may have been the boyfriend of the girl who was pregnant is, was actually pointed out to me by a friend, but it's the fact that on the phone he mentions her being pregnant, having a baby in the oven, so to speak, and you hear him crying like a baby. It makes it clear that, you know, that he's not the killer, but I still like to pretend that maybe he was.
Yeah.
Because
it really doesn't say either way. It doesn't say that he was, or it doesn't say that he wasn't, but you're led to believe that it was not at the very fact.
No.
Leaves it open.
You want to talk about the deaths?
Yeah, like the, I guess the mother of the house, I guess is what her title is. One of the, I guess, not really funniest deaths, but kind of made you scratch your head a little bit, like, is he takes a random hook hanging from an attic, and I don't know anyone that has a hook just hanging in their attic. They usually go in garages or whatever. But he takes it, and as she's looking at him, throws it at her. Now, granted, she's on the steps in the attic, like not up in the attic all the way, and hook goes into her. You don't see it go into her, but you know that it goes into her.
You see her legs, right?
Yeah, you see her legs hanging out of the entrance to the attic, but there's no blood.
Which makes sense. I mean, if you got hit with a very sharp hook, you probably wouldn't lose any blood at all, I assume.
None. None. You'd just be hanging there. That's it.
But I think the only death in this movie where you did see blood is actually at the very end when Margot Kidder gets the, was it a crystal, it's some kind of crystal knick-knack. She gets it right, and you see a little bit of blood.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what's funny?
Unicorn, wasn't it?
Unicorn.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing to me is the whole movie don't see blood until that point, and then when the heroine of the movie goes into that room and all the bodies are in there, there's blood fucking everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
It looks like Leatherface spun around with a chainsaw and just cut people in half, which you don't see that blood until that point. So, what would you, I don't know, on a scale from 1 to 5, what would you give this movie?
For the time that it was, made, like a 3.5 to 4, I think. I think it was a good movie on a scale of 1 to 5.
Oh yeah,
the best. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a 4 because I mean, look, if I was born in '82. If I were alive in 1973 and I went to a theater to see this probably would have scared the shit out of me because there was no Exorcist, there was no Halloween, Texas Chainsaw. This movie was completely original, so I definitely give it props for that. And is there anything else you'd like to cover on Black Christmas?
I think we're good.
There was a remake. It's entertaining. It's not good, but it definitely gives you 2 killers and a backstory, so check it out. And until next time, Kruger Nation.
On location.
On location. We're burning alive.